Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. And today, my friends, are back with a 2v2 showdown. It's going to be the forces of good versus evil. So it's myself on the Empire, Subutai on Bretonnia, Professor Pone on Nurgle, and Hadri's on his beloved Skaven. So certainly going to be getting quite scary as we fight at Borderlow Landing. It's actually kind of cool. The bad guys are like over here by the city, if you take a look, and it looks like they've just raided the city, and the forces of good have landed on the coast looking to lift the siege of the city. Now, as far as my build goes, it is going to be Volkmar the Grim and State Troopers backed up by wagons, so really just going to be bringing the front line, essentially, because the Empire front line probably is a little bit more cost-effective than Bretonnia, and it allows Bretonnia to invest more in mobility and cav and all that sort of good stuff. We do also have a Bright Wizard, and the wagons are there to shoot at any number of armored Nurgle targets, any sort of Rat Ogres or characters that the opponents might have, and certainly going to be one of the stronger elements. For my ally, Subutai, Grail Guardian, so going very flavorful here. He's got double Grail Guardian. Not the best unit, but very, very cool. He does have Fey Enchantress as well as a Paladin, and I believe Henri Le Massif is going to be backing up the Empire front line. For the forces of evil, it is going to be some rats. Oh, the Vixtrans. Hadri's so sneaky with his rats. You can see these guys going to be sneaking around the back, because obviously I'm probably going to be wanting to summon in some artillery, right? So having these sneaky rats back there to take them out is going to be quite good. So for the rest of Hadri's army, double Chieftain, double Plague Claw Catapult, going to be some really brutal Overwatch here on the battlefield, backed up by Plague Bearers of Nurgle, so there's 4 of those. And we do have Festus and 2 Cultists of Nurgle on foot. Now, Nurgle is actually really, really good, in my anecdotal experience, really good in 2v2 matches. Because Nurgle has really good infantry quality. They have really good characters, but they just lack everything else. So if you have other factions that can address your DPS needs, your mobility needs, like Nurgle becomes one of the best allies you can have, right? Because Nurgle has these healing elixirs, you pop those and your chieftains and any other characters that your ally might bring is going to be getting fat heals. I can totally see Nurgle being a really solid staple for 2v2. So I come forward with the wagons, thought I could get some free shots against the Plague Bearers, but Hadri's does get a nice ambush here as Warplock Jezzail's able to rip some shots, and the wagons of Sigmar are going to be retreating, while Subutai prepares an ambush on the west, or east side of the map, technically, but it kind of looks like the west from where we're looking, but it is going to be the double Grail Guardians in the tree line, backed up by Fey Enchantress, hoping to just kind of swarm this objective and wrestle that point. Over here for myself, we are going to be sneaking the Sigmar Suns over to Objective 3 to try and hold that down, and the Sunmaker has been summoned, and this is where it's going to get really ugly because the Vixtrans are taking a long vacation around the side of the map, the most Eshin thing that you can possibly imagine. Going to be very scary. Now, I really like this. Subutai going to be summoning in a Grail Relic to support me, while the dreaded Professor Pone Wall of Filth is going to be marching up. So Plague Bearers, we got Ikit Claw on the way, rollin' with unlimited power active. So his reserves and Winds of Magic are going to be quite sauced. Obviously, it's probably going to be some sort of a Flensing Rune or something. And 2v2 in this game is so awesome. It's such a cool format. If we just had dedicated servers and we didn't have peer-to-peer connections, I honestly think 2v2 would be one of the most popular tournament formats. It's really, really fun. It's just a shame that you have to play it in these kind of, non-competitive, non-tournament environments. I mean, you can, but the risk of lag is just so high. So Volkmar just up on the point, just trying to be a bit of a bully, being shot by Jezzail's a little bit. On the far side, we do see the Bretonnia Knights looking like they maybe want to get us around on the Festering Stooges. Although Subutai does get his Grail Guardians looking to collapse into the back of the Skaven lines, but the dreaded Pone going to be summoning in the Chaos Knights with Lances, which honestly might straight up beat these guys. But Plague Claw Catapults, who needs Warp Lightning Cannons? You honestly don't. Plague Claw Catapults, unless you're really trying to snipe a single entity model, but if you're dealing with Cav, Plague Claw Catapults do the job. It's pretty painful for us. A 1500 gold Cav unit on the far side getting pounded, and you can see Hadri's gets a massive value push right there. Festering Stooge is also grenading them, so our backfield pressure didn't work out here so well. Professor Pone does also have those Chaos Knights in the wings, but here in the center, we do have Volkmar the Grim dropping a little banishment here on the Plague Bearers, War Wagon shooting, and we do have the capture weight. So we have the double cap right now, which is good. We have that advantage. Unfortunately, in the back, things went very south. Sunmaker getting full-on prison shanked here by the Vixtrans. So the Vixtrans able to catch my boys, and they're going to be having a really bad time as I simply didn't have enough to stop them. I mean, I could summon in some Empire Knights or something, but yeah, ultimately, that was pretty much a disaster, and that hurts pretty badly. But cap weight's still favoring us here as the Bretonnians do pile in for a big fight. Fey Enchantress going to be mortising the Nurgle forces, while Nurgle does the same thing back to them, but Nurgle is the king of blood fights. I don't care if you have the Fey Enchantress. Nurgle will typically win these engagements, but even still, we do see a little bit of damage going down. Subutai trying to penetrate into the backfield, and he does get a good engagement here. So the Grail Guardians finally get a prize as they do saturate into the rats, and it looks like they're going to be continuing through to try and get on top of the Plague Claw Catapults. Staying the course here wouldn't be terrible, though. Shutting down Natty Bubos is a very, very good pick. And obviously, the response from the Forces of Evil is going to be strong here as they pile in to fight the Grail Guardians. But nice pick there by Subutai. Very good stuff. So as far as the main lane fighting goes, We have more Bretonnian cavalry. The Empire has summoned out some grenade launchers, so this is where we start to do damage. You know, we invested heavily in the Sunmaker and it got karate chopped, so the value that I'm contributing to the battle so far has been minimal compared to Bretonnia, who's been more grinding and fighting and mortis engineering and has these characters active. But now that we have grenade launchers out, this is where we can start to shine. Vixtrans in the backfield are being run down by Bretonnian cavalry, so we do see Knights Errant running into them while they're sandwiched by Free Company militia. So we will finally clean those guys up with the wagons and grenades, kind of wearing down some of the infantry, and that was really kind of the goal here, was to keep their infantry off objectives for as long as possible. But Plague Claw catapults from Hadri is doing brutal damage. He's at 6.3 right now, really packing a serious punch, as my poor Outriders are going to be getting wrecked. Another grenade launcher is on the way in, and we do see a Flensing Rune coming. Flensing Rune going to be trying to triple tap my units here. And I don't think I split up fast enough. I did, actually. So it only ends up hitting one unit. So we split up the 3 war wagons. We're getting some good DAC into Ikit Claw here, and he is going to be forced back. Grenade still trying to wear these infantry down. Volkmar the Grim, you know, he's doing okay here, but Skaven Chieftains are actually pretty good against him. They're going to be able to pack some serious punch against him. Dude, look how giant those bone breakers are. Man, they're huge. Volkmar's fighting back okay. He's pretty terrible at SE fighting. And when I say SE, for anybody who's a little bit newer to the game, I'm talking about single entities or things that are essentially one model, right? And it looks like the forces of the villains are moving up on the objective. Plague Bears are getting there. The cult is still grinding, but we have State Troopers and Bretonnian Battle Pilgrims, I think, or just men-at-arms all over the objective. So you can see we have a massive capture weight advantage. And now it looks like these Skaven are going to be trying to push into our backfield a little bit. Ogres moving up, Ogres, and I believe the Chaos Knights are causing havoc on the backside. Yeah, the Chaos Knights of Nurgle are actually killing Henri Le Massif. Or a Paladin? Yeah, Paladin, escorting him off the battlefield. And there's no more back pressure here. The Natty Bubos unfortunately did come back, and they still have a number of models, and the 2 Plague Claw catapults are still very much functional. As far as the values go, you can see our combined value is substantially less. Both sides do have healing, but the healing that Nurgle has, and yeah, of course they've been healing the Skaven too, so the healing value must be absolutely insane. Festus has been sitting there with those healing elixirs and just doing nutty work. But Grail Relique keeping the boys fighting. Swordsman obviously going to be slightly outclassed by the Marauders here, but with the blessings of the Lady, the Fey Enchantress lowering melee attack of enemy units, and the Grail Relique doing some good work as well. Hopefully we'll be able to continue fighting. More Bretonnian Cav trying to slip around. It looks like they were maybe thinking about pushing into the backfield, which could be a good play right now, considering we have the 2 catapults, but it looks like they are going to be moving in and rear charging, trying to sandwich this force, and again, we're just trying to hold on to that points lead. And we noticed during the game, a really weird nuance of the 2v2 is that the objective flipped from my control to Bretonnian control because they had more capture weight. So even with your allies, the objectives can flip. So we do get some decent momentum here. They overextend, the wagons are able to kite them back, and the Bretonnian Cav able to ride down the overextending ogres. It looks like we do have some Eshin Triads moving in, and some idle Knights Errant that will be joining us soon. But now the objective is going to be flipping for the bad guys. So in response to this, I go for a little bit of a flank push on the side. I believe I have some guys working through the trees. So we have the Zentler's Reichsguard coming out. I have some swordsmen, but the Chad Chaos Knights are just very problematic. You know, I didn't bring too much anti-armor outside of the wagons. They can't be everywhere at once, but I will need to get these wagons over here because my whole kind of game plan was, I noticed we were starting to lose the middle, so I was like, let's go for the side objective. But isn't it weird? It kind of like flips from Bretonnia to myself, depending on who has the capture weight. And the rats that pushed into the backfield, a couple triads just getting grenade launched, so we see the grenades here doing some really good work. Wagon saturating in, dragging down many of these units, but there is going to be a little bit of back pressure. Plague Bears of Nurgle, the inevitable rush, are heading towards the back objective, and Sigmar Sons are good fighters, but they would probably lose to a Plague Bear unit, especially a full health one like that, so it's going to be tricky. Knights of the Blazing Sun coming over, going to be battling the Chaos Knights. You know, I didn't have too many great options here, just trying to buy some time so the Chaos Knights don't do too much work. Lance's couch for Karl Franz. I think they worship a different god, but we'll just say Sigmar because it's basically all in the family, right? But they do get a nice charge onto the Chaos Knights, but the heavy armor of the Knights doing good work. But this is a very good situation for Subutai and I. We get the triple wagons round. We do also get the Fey Enchantress, Mortis engineering them. My Cav got the full charge on them, and the Chaos Knights are now going to be dragged through the mud. Even though they've done very well. I mean, I would wager their value is pretty good so far. Yeah, 1,000 value on the Knights of the Lionhearted. Chaos Knights hitting at 600, but we'll see what they can accomplish. Plague Claw catapults also raining some Overwatch fire, and we have a very pitched game on our hands. On the backside, Zentler's Reichsguard trying to move up onto the point, but Plague Bears were dispatched from the forces of Nurgle, and I don't really have anything else coming through the tree line to help out here. And man, those Plague Claw catapults have been so brutal this game. Look at the value that Hadri's has gotten, and that makes sense. You know, Nurgle is the anvil and the Skaven are the hammer, but this is an anvil that slowly like kind of creeps. It's like a hydraulic press from 2 sides, basically, just some nasty stuff. Volkmar trying to survive. The 2 chieftains have been very tricky. The healing elixirs on Festus have also been very problematic. Granted, he does have his Mortis engine on right now, so thankfully he's not healing up the rats. But I think that's going to be an overcasted fleshy abundance. Oh my god, the value is so gross. I was wondering during the game, I like looked there and the chieftains were on death's bed, and then a fat, overcasted, fleshy abundance. All the work we had put in on those characters, which we didn't really have good single entity fighting squad with Volkmar. Definitely should have gone Franz or Boris. But even still, like, that heal is so cost effective. Globadiers moving up, and the back objective is being threatened. They did come for it, but I brought some state troopers to reinforce. Grenade launchers going to be sending these Nurgle infantry units to the Shadow Realm, and I really like this color scheme. I would totally, you know, if I were to start my Empire army over in tabletop, I'd probably still do the red-white color scheme. I think it looks really like classic, but this is a cool one. I really like kind of the yellow and the white. Very neat combo. Free Company Militia holding, swordsmen are up, grenade launchers pulling back and still supporting. Over here, the wagon's getting a little bit of decent DACA, trying to shoot and defest this, but the Leech Lord is going to be pulling back behind the pillar. As on the backside, the Zentless Reiksguard Knights, I camped them in the tree line for a moment. I was hoping our opponents would forget about them, and then I could charge them into the Plague Bearers once the Festering Stooges and the Toads had left. And we could maybe have a bit of a play on the back objective. But Wagon's doing good work. Overall, our combined value is about 15,000. Our opponents sitting a little bit closer to 20. But they also have fat healing as well. And we have some healing, so it does kind of offset that a tiny bit. But overall, it's definitely favoring the forces of evil right now. Enchantress and Volkmar the Grim working together, the two heroes of the old world fighting, trying to grind down the Globadiers and the other weapons teams. A big Chalice of Potions from the Enchantress does nuke some of the Plague Bearers here. And those Plague Call catapults are almost out of ammo, but not before they just get a ton of value. Actually, only 1,000. I would expect them to have a little bit more, but I mean, they still have ammo to give. Now, this objective looking scary. Furies came in, attacked the Free Company Militia, able to grind them down. The Marauders of Nurgle pushing back my infantry units, and the grenade launchers trying desperately to clear this one off, as I do summon out another Sunmaker, and this time it's going to have some, defenses, right? So we have some Spearmen guarding it. We do also have Knights of the Blazing Sun, and the Sunmaker is going to start getting some good value here. Granted, a lot of the infantry really isn't around. I'm looking. We do have Vixrins back in here. Wagon's going to be shooting into those bad boys. Big Flensing Rune going down right here. So Flensing Rune going to be popping and hitting a lot of our units, Volkmar as well as these Knights Errant. So might be able to do the job. We'll have to see. Festering Stooges back here, healing and being extra stinky. And the Zentless Reiksguard, they can obviously dominate a Plague Bearer in combat, but the cross support, right? The Jezzails able to, complement Nurgle's, durability here by putting the DPS in they need to hold that objective. So the Zentless Reiksguard might lose this simply because the Warplock Jezzails are picking off models at a pretty heavy pace. Back objective is just barely owned by us. We do get a big Burning Head, which kind of clears out the Plague Bearers. And the Furies are pushing here, and we finally secure this one. So this is pretty big for us. We have a points lead, so we have a little bit of time to try and work our way back into the game. And the Empire is a faction that becomes stronger when battles become... I would say Empire is like a decent formation faction, but many games with Empire are won when the battle becomes more frenetic. And you have like these big carry characters like Franz and Boris, and your wagons and your cavalry kind of controlling the battlefield. That's really what makes the Empire quite solid, right? So Reiksguard Knight's going to be running back into the tree line. Obviously, we saw the two chieftains come over here, and Volkmar was coming to try and help on that objective, but he got beaten down by the two healed-up chieftains. So Nurgle healing, very, very cost-effective here. Knights of the Realm hustling across, looking to support the Imperial forces, as the Grail Guardians and Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis are back in business, but the Globadiers are just doing brutal damage to these poor cavalry. And looking at the value here, I'm currently at 10.3, 9.3 for Bretonnia. Bretonnia came out very strong, but obviously the Empire powder and artillery will kind of scale a little bit better for long-term DPS. And Hadri's, though, is just carrying really, really hard with the damage, but Pone's also doing an outstanding job playing the objectives. Every time we look, the objectives are being held by Plague Bearers, while the Skaven really do the damage. And I love the healing that Professor Pone has brought to the table. Big Burning Head going down here for Sigmar, the vengeance of Volkmar, his last laugh. He does go through those Marauders and does some pretty decent damage, also tickles the Plague Bearers on the way through. Now the wagon's going to be getting into the backfield a little bit. I was like, let's use our Haggard Empire Chariots and see what we can do. Trying to press, but Fury's moving in, as well as Rat Ogres. More Jezzails in the backfield have come. Very, very tough to dive back there. We do have the Sunmaker, thankfully for us, is doing some very, very good damage, nuking these infantry here. Poison Wind's doing a little bit of friendly fire. The Grail Guardians trying to push up. I'm curious how they've been doing. 1,500 value, but it is their second life. So in order to truly pay for themselves, they would probably need to get around 3,000 value, something like that. Back objective in a little bit of danger. Professor Pone, extra sneaky, going to be getting his two Nurglings to the tree line, backed up by Skaven slaves. And it looks like a couple loose units in the back of the battlefield. Certainly need to rally these units as I do move them back. But those Nurglings could easily steal that objective, and it could be very, very problematic for us. As far as this back point goes, we do get the Grail Guardians and Defenders of Fleur-de-Lis moving back there. And we do have a little bit of fighting on the far side here. As the Rat Ogres do overextend, they get run down by the Knights of the Blazing Sun. And we have a pretty good opening into the opponent's backfield here, as the Ogres will be falling. Knights of the Blazing Sun, it's not that Rat Ogres take any... I don't think they take any bonus from fire damage, do they? Are they weak to fire? Let's go ahead and double check this. I think it's because of Kindle Flame. Yeah, I have Kindle Flame active right now, so that is why they're going to be a little bit weak to fire. Very, very nice energy for sure. So Knights of the Blazing Sun charging in. This is a big one for us, and this is how we potentially get momentum back in the game, taking down the Skaven weapons teams and trying to re-secure the middle. So we get here, we run down the mortar teams, which is going to be a big win for us, and then we try and move back towards the Jezzails here using our Haggard Empire Chariots, which have used most of their ammo, just super value pieces to get the job done. But the ambush is soon to be sprung. We see the Nurglings waiting in the trees with the Skaven slaves, so they're probably just waiting for us to overcommit to the middle before they move in there. We'll see how we do react to that. Grenade launchers currently off the battlefield, and the Sunmaker did finally get taken down by a unit of Furies, but it used all of its ammo, so it was able to get some okay work done. But yeah, at least it was able to use its payload there, and it wasn't a complete wash. In the middle, Nurgle healing, very, very scary. Festus is healing cap. The two chieftains are approaching the healing cap. On the back objective here, we get the Ziltner's Reichsguard as well as some Free Company moving through the tree line. Now there's no big, scary Chaos Nurgle Knights, right, to cause problems here. And the Free Company Militia should be able to cap a lot of these toads. Granted, a substantial amount of shots are hitting the tree line, so we'll certainly need to move up to get a little bit of a better shot there. Sigmar Sun's also heading there. And, if we can capture this objective soon and just hold the back objective, then we probably win this game, right? Fey Enchantress here, going to be battling the Beast of Nurgle with the Paladin, should be able to win that one. And it looks like the Fae wants to move up on the objective using the Knights Errant and some of those other supporting pieces. We'll have to see. Sterling's Revenge also hustling. Festus almost gets killed by them. They got their pistols out, got a little bit of work in. Healing elixirs are active, but thankfully for me, he is healing capped. In the wagons of Sigmar, able to shut down the Poison Wind Mortars in tandem with the Knights Errant from Subutai that did come back here. And the War Wagons did do some very, very good disruption. Kind of pushed the Skaven back a little bit in terms of pressure. Instead of being up on the point, they were fighting over here, which may give us a moment. We'll have to see. The dreaded Nurgling backcap, though, is on, and the Free Company Militia will lose to the Nurglings in their current state. They're very tattered. We do also see the Chaos Furies coming, trying to get the Sterling's Revenge back over here, and I do summon two Swordsmen to bum rush the middle. That was kind of my game plan. I didn't actually, at this point in the game, see the Nurgling summon. Had no idea it was coming. Subutai, though, grinding some really, really good late game value with the Fey Enchantress. She's doing some big work, whereas Volkmar was a little bit more of a weak link. And now we do fight on this point. Sigmar Suns and the Chaos Knights are back once again, causing massive havoc in my ranks. These poor state troopers, they do not have the armor piercing to drag these guys down. And trying to get some grenade launcher support. Granted, we are going to be stealing the objective most likely. I mean, we still have a lot of capture weight here between these three characters, but it's going to be kind of short-lived as those Chaos Knights will probably honestly clean out everything. We are putting up an okay fight. Grenade launcher's doing okay. Trying to get them shooting at the Plague Bearers here so they can't get to the point. But the back objective has been stolen, and ladies and gentlemen, that could potentially be it. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to get the points back. We will probably re-secure. We do get the back point, so this one's going to be flipping 100%. The Bretonnia Knights helping, and just one more tick there with our infantry should get the job done. Bright Wizard trying to help, so that one does flip. And the back objective here probably will be re-secured. Fey Enchantress is coming, as well as the two Swordsmen. And honestly, we're threatening the middle objective as well. So, there's a lot of potential momentum shifts here with the Chaos characters getting killed, but they've managed to hold on to the points long enough that they've gotten the job done. Chaos Knight's a little bit low. Sigmar Sun's moving back up here. Grenades have some decent AP values. I mean, mostly it's like non-armor piercing, but there still is some. So shooting at the Chaos Knights has kind of been my best bet. And the Mantide and Bretonnians rushing the middle with the Grail Relique, and you can see it's starting to flip. The middle objective coming back. The back objective is unfortunately owned by the bad guys. The two swordsmen moving. Fey Enchantress is broken, a metaphor for the end of the battle, as both of the heroes of the old world are broken by the evil forces. Knights of the Blazing Sun coming in, but ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Very, very fun stuff. It was an absolute blast to play, and I really want to do more 2v2 stuff on the channel. So if you guys would want to see more of this kind of mixed in as like regular videos, do let me know. As far as doing it as an actual tournament goes, it's just, we could do like an offline tournament maybe, and like just record the ones that aren't laggy. That would probably be the best bet. It's just such a shame. Or it could be done via replays, I guess. We could like do like a 4-team tournament and do it via replays. That would probably actually be the best bet. Like have best of ones, players declare their factions before. So yeah, you declare your like alliance, and I would like to do it thematically speaking. I think that's more fun. So okay, I'm gonna do that. We'll do like an alliance chart, right? There'll be like a Chaos Alliance, an Order Tide. There can be an Elvish Union. Like we can have like different teams that people can pick. And then they can kind of mix and match from there, which I think would be really, really fun. We did that before a long time ago. I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was back in kind of the middle of Warhammer 2, like later days of Warhammer 2. But yeah, having it as a live stream is just too much drama. It's just like, the lag is just, it just ruins everything. So especially if I'm like casting, because we have myself and then 4 other players in the lobby, and it's like just doom basically. But yeah, I think we'll do it via replays, like a really small tournament via replays. I think that'd be really fun. All right, guys, appreciate you all. We'll see you on the other side. Take care of yourselves. And that is going to be it for today. Oh, how could I skip the value? That's what you guys are here for. 1,400 wagons. Like in the rest of my forces, Sunmaker did okay. Grenades did good too. You can see 1500, 1300, 1500 right there. For Subutai, what did well for him? Faye, 2400. Grail Guardians, not so good. They were each summoned twice, and they certainly didn't pay for themselves. But he got really good value in other things. I think it was some of his cav here. Yeah, the Knights Errant, 2200. The cheap cav, man, just pulling it in there. Now, Hadri is brutal damage on his catapults. Chieftains were able to bully Volkmar. Just a lot of high value on a lot of his army. Ikitclaw also got 3000. And Professor Pone was the Dark Lord of Healing. He brought a lot of support that gave the Skaven the staying power they usually lack. I love how they complemented each other. It was really fun. All right, guys. For real, see you next time. Take care. That's it.